So,
Are you ready?
I don't know. Okay. Alright. 3, 2, 1. Anyway, so we are back with the College Lifter Show. First time on video.
So bear with us.
Yeah, never done this before, so we'll see how that works out.
We wanted to give you a visual component because I like to see things.
Yeah, I think like most really good podcasts out there are on video. You got Joe Rogan, you got Barbell Shrugged. Who else is on there? Brian McKenzie had one for a while.
Yeah.
That was just video. So we're going to see how this works out. This week's show is on basically mindset, but first we want to get through some progress as we come back into CrossFit, because as everyone who listens to us knows, we were doing just strength work for almost 4 months.
For about 3 months, yeah, but it paid out in dividends for sure.
So we came back and you hit a PR.
I did. So if you've been paying attention, I know we didn't get as many, I think we got one podcast up over the summer due to technical difficulties and trying to figure things out. But if you're at least following the Instagram, you saw that we were doing the small house junior cycle.
Yeah.
And so that was a bunch of strength work for me, making sure I get my position right. Hit a huge PR just doing that, basically. And then within the first week of being back in CrossFit, we were working up to a 1 rep max on our deadlift. I'm like, that should be fun. I literally haven't tested this in a year and a half. It has literally been that long. So I ended up pulling 195, which was like a 40-pound PR for me. So obviously I should have PR'd anyways, but because of the small off cycle, that really transferred in and made it absolutely huge. And the only reason I stopped there was because I was starting around my back. Had I not cared about form, which obviously we hound all the time, then I could have easily pulled 200, but I also wasn't sure how much I was lifting, so I wasn't really sure how much I needed to be braced for.
Yeah, and you've never lifted that before, so...
Well, and besides that, like, I'm the kind of person that sometimes it's best if I don't actually know how much is on the bar, because I'll get in my head.
Yeah, that's a good
And
thing,
so, doing a couple warm-up lifts, I was like, you know what? I feel good. Just going to start throwing plates on. Like, 10s at a time and see what happens. And I went for that final PR lift and threw 20s on each side. Like, I don't know how much this is. But just find out, like, oh, okay, we need to put one more in. And so I wasn't properly braced for nearly lifting 200. I had no idea. So, that was awesome.
Yeah, so, this camera's really making me feel awkward. It's the first time I've ever been recorded like this.
Shy. It's okay. I'm the drama geek. I love to be in lights and cameras. This is cool for me.
Yeah, this is taking a lot, so appreciate this. So, re-entering CrossFit. Most demanding thing as far as patience goes that I've experienced for a while, coming straight off of just that power stuff, because my endurance is kind of not there. In any capacity. Just if you're looking at lactic acid threshold, if you're looking at just straight out endurance or mid-distance endurance, it's not there. I'm good for like the first 2 rounds. Then I just fall.
I don't know, but that's always been, at least pacing as far has always been an issue for you. I don't know if that really ties much into endurance for you.
You know, this summer, especially listening to guys like Julian Pinot, I've really kind of, I'd say, taken another look at how I understand pacing. Because although I agree you have to pace in certain workouts, and certain workouts are trying to hit certain energy systems, him talking about that lactic acid threshold and really training that in a kind of low injury environment, I think is really smart. But also, I think you need all those, because one thing that I've always heard Brian talk about is you need to be able to have that endurance base so that you have, you know, that lactic acid energy system in the tank for at the end. You can just flip into that and go.
Right, yeah.
So I think having a balance between those and understanding the workout when you look at it as to, all right, today this is what the coach is focusing on. Tomorrow he's focused on something else. You know, this other day we might be trying to put them together in that same fashion. So it really just depends. And so that's kind of reshaped the way I look at it and reshaped my perspective as far as I come back into it, I'm coming into it with a better understanding and appreciation for everything that we're doing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. So it takes a little more thought. That's why I'm always the one who says don't look at the workout before you show up. Just show up. But I'm actually looking at it now because I'm trying to understand. All right, this is what this is probably for. This is the kind of mindset I have to have. This is how I have to go into it.
And then you can kind of like visualize a little bit beforehand, which is helpful. It's something that I do. Just kind of like best case scenario, may not be able to do it depending on how I'm feeling, but at least like kind of going through what I expect it to be in my mind gives me a realistic bar that I can at least aim for.
Yeah, I think that's visualization and meditation are really big. It really helps to kind of see yourself doing it because then in essence you've already done it.
Yeah.
You're just fulfilling that. So that helps out a lot.
Which, if you've never done it before, I know that sounds really odd because it's something that I never really connected with. Like, I heard about it, I was like, that sounds a little like, I don't know, a little out there crazy, but
Yeah.
I started doing it a little bit more recently, and I think the first time I started actually doing it was for the open workouts.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one I actually did that was 15.2, I think it was 2. But it was the pull-ups and overhead squats, which was a repeat from one of the workouts last year. And I'm over here in my mind, like I'm visualizing doing it, but in my head I'm over here thinking I can't actually do pull-ups. I've never strung together kipping pull-ups before. But being able to go through that visualization and seeing the motions in my head, I actually strung together 6 when I've never done one in my life. So right there, it does definitely help. Just even in like visualizing yourself doing the form can help you that extra little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a really big key that a lot of people, especially our age in college, don't get. Because it is honestly just fun to blare music and go nuts and forget about all this stuff. But if you really listen to older, more experienced guys, they'll tell you, hey, settle down a little bit. Channel that into what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, conditioning is definitely different than strength, and something like CrossFit where you're combining conditioning with weightlifting in some form or fashion, whether it's a pull-up because you're lifting your own body weight and all that, really changes things. I forgot how much.
Yeah, you really do have to balance it because every time you lift fresh, it's going to be a lot easier than if you go straight after doing like 30 kettlebell swings or rowing a certain amount and you're completely out of breath before you can start.
Yeah.
It's definitely different.
Kettlebell swings and box jumps. The worst combination so far since I've been back.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
I had box jump overs, not jump on and over, jump over and double unders, single unders for me because I'm not quite that coordinated yet.
Yeah.
And the whole life.
Well, for me, box jumps are terrible because I'm good at rebounding because that's what we did back in high school football.
Right.
And so I literally just brace and just bounce off my tendons and muscles, which you probably shouldn't do, but this is what I do. But when you do that, you don't have like any second to reset, and you're kind of forced to contract. So then when you do that and then go straight into kettlebell swings, you're just like, man, I'm already tired, but I don't feel like I did anything.
Yeah. Well, that's why one of my methods is when I start reaching that point where I'm completely out of breath, can't breathe and work out, take a step back, 3 to 5, I'd say, not that boring, 3 to 5 like deep breaths just to like calm it down a little, and then I go back into it. If you ever work out with me and see me off the bar for like 15-30 seconds, yell at me.
Unless the method for the day is to do lactic acid work, then don't do that.
Okay, well there's that.
Then just die. Like that's your whole purpose of the day is to be destroyed.
Yeah, we were actually talking a little bit about, you'll see people get to the end of the workout and coach will call 1 minute and they slow down or they don't change their pace. And for me, it's like, you've got 1 more minute. After this, you can die on the floor.
Yeah.
You don't even have to save anything in the tank. So why do you not push that extra little bit? Like, you don't have to breathe now.
Yeah.
You can breathe later. Just that's when you say, okay, push it. Forget the rules you set as far as like breaking sets. Just like go.
Yeah. Well, one thing for me is like, I understand pacing it in different workouts, but even if your coach doesn't program it, I think at some point, if it's like a 5-minute workout, you gotta turn that into
for sure.
lactic acid thing.
For sure, because it's so short anyways. Think about it in the long view of the day, even it's not going to hurt you for those 5 minutes to just not stop to the point you're like almost dead. That's character building right there for you. It could be, but it's a really good thing to keep in mind.
Yeah. I think you should be throwing up at least once a week. Or probably at the most once a week. Like, once a week, have something where you just get thrashed. But be smart about it. You know, make sure that's a day you're really on top of your nutrition and your water and your supplements and all that.
Yeah, I've been doing really good about water.
The second week back.
No, the first week back I was too.
Oh, okay.
Because I have, I just got one of those clear plastic jars assigned a water bottle. Because if you have the big water bottles, you can look
It's
at
like
it.
a wannabe mason jar.
It is a wannabe. It's so cute. Anyway, so you have like the 32-ounce water bottle. Great, you only need to drink like 3 of those in a day. But you look at it, it's like, oh, that's all I've drunk? Because it's so much bigger. Whereas my 16-ounce cup, you like down it really fast and you feel super accomplished. You're like, oh, I'm going to do it again.
Little goals are good. Little ones
goals.
are good.
Little goals.
It's big steps.
Baby steps. They're good.
Now, yeah, patience. So if you've done anything like us and you've like taken the summer off, let's say just to party, or just do school, or just to work, or whatever, even just do strength work, have patience when you come back. That's probably the biggest thing I can say, because coming back I got frustrated with myself the first week, and then I just kind of had to check myself and go,
Yeah.
it's all right, you're not used to that, volume anymore. So that takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Also, a big thing that I kind of have been doing lately is looking at mindset and the difference between training and a workout. So what do I mean by that? A lot of people, like the traditional CrossFit thing is, let's just go and blow it out. Let's go and just go till we throw up and die. We've started to move away from that and move really into the pacing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like most things, it's the middle ground. That's
Yeah.
correct.
And
So
it depends on the workout for sure.
yeah, like if it's a 15-minute effort, yeah, pace that.
Yeah.
Don't just destroy yourself unless you built yourself up to that point.
Yeah. Anything under 10, you probably should push it quite a bit harder.
Yeah, and so, but looking at it like, when you say a workout, like you get a CrossFit workout, most people are gonna think you mean like just go all out. Or even bodybuilding, like let's just, do drop sets till we die, until our arms fall off. But training is very different to me. Training tells me that there's a purpose behind it, there's a reason behind what we're doing today, and it interacts well with everything we're doing this week and this month and this year.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at it as training is something that's going to focus me more into understanding the purpose and following through with that.
Yeah.
Instead of just going crazy and it's like, oh, that wasn't very smart. So that's one big thing I've been looking at. Also, the difference between training and practice. So to me, the difference between training and practice is training is like practice is a part of training.
Right.
So like when I go work out with Ryan and we do snatches, clean and jerks, and squats.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's practice because I just got back and working with lighter weights. And so trying to get back into the groove of it, especially since I haven't snatched in like 4 months until I came back.
Yeah, and snatching is one of those things you really kind of have to stay on top of or you lose it real quick.
So I'm staying with lightweight and I'm just hitting it rep after rep after rep, trying to make it better. That's practice, which is a part of my overall training. And so you can look at this like if you have a CrossFit workout with, let's say, pull-ups and snatches, just those two things together. Your goal in that workout should be every snatch should look better than the last one.
Right.
So that's the practice component of it, but you're also putting in the metabolic demand of that, especially paired with something else that's going to fatigue your upper back. So then that becomes a training session, is the way I kind of look at it at this point. So I think that's been a big difference and a big improvement in the way I see things.
Yeah. I know I had one of those moments too just the other day actually. I worked out on Friday, showered, and then came up here for the weekend because obviously we're back in separate places.
Yeah.
But I looked at the workout Thursday night and I just about died because it was Michael, which is one of the hero workouts, which is 3 rounds per time of an 800-meter run, 50 back extensions, and 50 sit-ups. back extension sit-ups, no problem. But there is definitely a day when as soon as I see that there's a mile and a half of running in any workout, I'm cherry picking hardcore. Like I'm not going to show up.
She hates running.
I hate running. I'm so bad at it. I can't, like, there's technical issues there that are why I'm bad at it. But, I would have either not shown up at all, or maybe because I did, like, the other two movements in the workout, I would have shown up, but I would have been sandbagging hardcore. Like, I probably would have walked, like, jogged about half of it. So, for me, the fact that I not only went, but went and surpassed my expectations was a huge deal. I was expecting, okay, I'll probably be easily at like 35 minutes, which was the time cap for the workout. And I finished the whole thing in 27. Not only did I finish the whole thing in 27 minutes, I didn't stop running once on 3 800-meter sections. It's a big deal for me.
Yeah, that's really impressive, actually.
So, when I was thinking on the way home, where has this change really occurred? Because back when I call it kind of like the sections I've done CrossFit in, because I did CrossFit about 3-4 days a week, depending on my school schedule, not that hardcore, for like maybe 8 months. And then due to finances and busy schedule and everything, I literally took 6 months off before I'm now back at it. So it's literally like the 2 sections of CrossFit. And in that interim period, I kind of realized how much I love it, how much I miss it, and how much it is now a goal of mine to actually do this as an athlete.
Yeah.
And that mindset has made so much of a difference. That goal I set for myself, where if I see a workout I'm not necessarily good at, now not only am I going to make sure that I go, but I'm going to make sure that I treat that as training section to work on those weaknesses specifically. And that's made so much of a difference in how much I've given. And I think that just kind of manifested itself in that one workout, because that's obviously something I would have completely balked at before.
Yeah, you were super excited when you called me. You were like, oh my god, I made it.
I know. And I was just kind of thinking about the fact that, like he said, if you think of it as training instead of a workout, which I'm now doing for my own purposes, well, how does that apply further outside the sphere of just working out? If you think of your job as just something you do to get a paycheck, going to class is just something you do to get your minimum baseline grade, how does that change versus how you're thinking about this is training for a future goal for who I want to be in life? And how is that going to affect, what kind of effort you put into day in, day out efforts?
I didn't really think of that translation between the gym and class. That's actually really good. But I will say, so a day where it's like, so in my training schedule, if there's a day where the program is to do something like a lactic threshold, like, Julian stuff, where you just push the sled until you can't push the sled at all, and then they take off a little bit and keep pushing it. That is a day that you would say, okay, this is a workout, because that's where that classic sense of a workout's going to come in.
Right.
And that mindset's going to help you. But being able to distinguish between those, I think, is going to be key. But there are days where you do have to do that workout mentality, and it's just like, all right, let's go. Let's burn it out.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be about it for the first video podcast. Look for us on YouTube. Keep up with social media. Look at the website. You can actually download this here. Download the podcast. We are recording audio behind this.
Mm-hmm.
iPads are amazing things.
Mm-hmm. Instagram's huge. I think Instagram's probably the number one way to keep up with us. I'm really, really fantastic at posting on that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to get better.
But there is also on the webpage a place to contact us. So please do that if you have any questions, if you have anything you want to hear about.
Yeah, any topics, anything you want to address. We could do just a Q&A show. That would be fine.
Yeah.
And I can even bring Ryan on here because he's got an experience that neither of us have for a good Q&A. So that's it. Have a good day, guys.